This is day 9 of the challenge and also my last day teaching. So thank you very much for still being here. Kate and I appreciate you sticking it out very, very much. Today we're going to work on our hips in a whole bunch of different ways, but we're primarily going to engage this thing called the gluteus maximus, which is really integral for strong, stable hips. And that muscle helps us do a whole bunch of things like lateralize and move the body forward in space. It's a pretty important muscle. You don't need any equipment, and we're going to start lying down on our back. And today we'll have the arms off to the side at first with the palms facing down, and then just scoop your tailbone so you feel your ribs come down and all that stuff. You lose the curve in your low back, and then just float your feet up so your shins are parallel to the floor. Take one of those long, full breaths in through the nose. And then purse your lips, pressurize your exhale. It's a strong exhale, but it's smooth. And the most important part of the exhalation is that it is complete. You want to empty everything out, like we keep on saying. So now that you have your corset on, just keep breathing like that, in through the nose, out through the mouth at your own pace. And bring your legs together. So stick your knees and your feet together. And just a little bit, don't go too far, start to tilt your knees over to the left, like 10 degrees at most. If you go any further than that, you're probably going to let your ribs flare out. So at that amount of rotation at the hips and at the spine, you're able to keep your ribs down and your tail scooped and all that integration. And then just come back to the middle, super simple at first. Tilt your knees over to the right. And can you keep your ribs down? Can you keep your tail tucked? Don't go so far that your ribs pop out, because it means that you're going into that extension pattern. We don't have that much rotation without using our back. We don't want that. So come on back to center, and let's just do that one more time on each side. We'll do things in twos today. Knock your knees ever so slightly to the left. Tailbone stays tucked, ribs stay down, that whole thing. Maybe you're still doing those big exhales. And then come back to the center. And then go over to the right. And then come back to center. And then this time, reach your right arm up into the air. And go for an extra big reach of the arm like we've been doing. Reach from the shoulder blade so much that it tilts your chest. It kind of turns your sternum to the left. Now keep that and knock your knees over to the left just a little bit. Don't go too far. And you're going to go up for a nice big sit-up. We're only doing 2, so go up as high as you can and try to scrunch up your right side abs so much that your left shoulder head comes off of the floor. Keep the angle and come back down and just tap your head so the knees stay knocked to the left. Keep your tailbone scooped, all that stuff, and do one more big, huge sit-up. So big that the left shoulder head comes off the ground. So hopefully you feel your right obliques. And then slowly come back down. Return your knees to center and switch arms. So right hand goes off to the right, left arm reaches up. You go for that immediate big, huge reach and even turn your sternum to the right. Bring your knees to the right a small amount and do a sit-up. And I always like to think of initiating the movement from the left abs. Like, can you crunch up the left abs so much that your right shoulder comes off the floor? And then stay on the angle again and slowly come down, tap your head, and then go right back up. Smush your left rib cage down into your body, hover your right shoulder head off the floor. And then come back down, come back to the middle, and switch arms again. So take your left arm off to the left and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Keep your tail scooped, all that stuff. Big reach of the right arm, and tilt your knees again over to the left just one more time. Do a big old sit-up so big your left shoulder head comes off the floor, and just pause. Now bring your legs forward and straighten them any amount. They don't have to go all the way straight. And you're going to hover your left arm off the floor completely. Hand hovers. Then take your hand back down, bring your knees back in, and roll onto your back again, but keep reaching your right arm up. Tap the floor with your head. We're going to do it one more time. So the first move is just to reach the right arm a lot. Then tilt your knees to the left a little bit. Do a huge sit-up, so big your left shoulder head comes off the floor. Keep your tailbone scooped and send your legs forward any amount. And then hover your left arm off the floor and try not to wiggle around too much. Then take your hand to the floor, bring your knees back in, and roll onto your back and switch arms. Right arm goes down, left arm goes up. First move is a big reach that's going to engage your serratus. Bring your knees over to the right. Keep your tail scooped and do a big old sit up. Right shoulder hovers. Bring your legs forward any amount. Take your right arm off the floor for a sec. Take your hand back to the ground, pull your knees in and reverse it back onto your spine. Head goes down. First move is just a big reach, serratus. Second move, tilt your knees just a bit. Third is to do a big sit up. Right shoulder hovers. Legs go forward. Right arm hovers. Try to catch your left obliques. Right hand to the floor. Knees come in. Roll onto your back and then just give yourself a little hug. So maybe interlace your fingers on your shins and just knock your knees from side to side a little bit. That one is a slow burn, but it eventually got me pretty bad. Let's roll over to our right, and we'll use the right arm as a little pillow. So extend your right arm kind of in the overhead plane so your head can rest on something, and place your knees so that they're right in front of your hips. And I like to take my left hand onto the floor like a kickstand. And then it's a little bit strange, but scoop your tailbone and think of unhiking your left hip, that's your top hip, away from your head. Or you could think of hovering your right rib cage, your right side body, away from the floor. So you want to keep your tailbone scooped and your ribs in, and you want to keep this gap between your body and the ground. Those are the rules. You got to keep them. So hover your left leg out in front of you just so it's parallel to the floor. And then straighten your leg. And notice that in this position, you could probably lift your leg up a bit higher, but don't let your body turn up towards the ceiling like your chest and your belly button. That's really important. Start to bring your leg back behind you into extension, but keep your tail scooped so you don't use your back. Your ribs stay integrated. Now reach your left heel as far as you can in that direction away from your head towards the back of your mat. And notice that that increases the gap between the floor and your ribs, and you want that. Try to keep that amount of reach as you bring the leg back out in front of you. And then when it's there, lift it up a bit. Then bring your leg back and pause there. Don't go too far that it pops your ribs out. Go for an extra big reach of your leg. Try to take your leg out of its hip socket. Right side body should hover. Keep that as much as you can. You'll probably lose it a bit as you bring the leg forward. And when your leg's out in front of you, lift the hip higher, lift the foot higher, and then go back. Let's do it one more time. Reach with your foot. Keep that reaching quality as you bring your leg out in front of you. Keep the leg out in front of you for a second so you can pop the foot higher, and then reach the leg back behind you and pause. Reach the foot, so same. Hover your right ribs away from the floor. Keep your tail scooped and assume you need to turn your zipper and your knee and your foot, your left foot, towards the floor. And keep reaching your foot like crazy as you do these little love taps with your foot going up and down, these little pulses. And you should start to accumulate a little bit of a burn on the outside of your hip. That's your glute maximus, lateral fibers, these muscles that get you from one side to the other. Let's just go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and then be done with it. Roll over onto your other side. I'm going to go over here just so you can see me. And use your left arm as a little pillow. Have your knees out in front of you and have your right fingertips onto the floor somewhere. So you can use that as a little bit of a base. And then move your outer right hip away from you. So that's unhiking your right hip to lift your left rib cage up off the floor. And then you'll hover the right leg up just so it's parallel to the ground and stretch the leg straight out in front of you. In this orientation, you can probably lift your foot up, but not at the expense of the whole body rolling up towards the ceiling. So if anything, you want to turn your chest and your belly button to the floor the whole time. Okay, keep that as you bring your leg back into hip extension. And while you're back here, could you reach your leg further away from your head towards the back of your mat? That should make it harder to lift your leg. Bring it out in front of you and pause, and then lift your foot up high. Bring it back behind you a little bit, but keep your tailbone tucked, keep your ribs integrated, and reach the foot away from your head. Keep the reach, bring the leg out in front of you. Keep the leg out in front of you, lift the foot higher. Bring the leg back, reach. Big reach. Left side body should increase away from the floor. Bring the leg forward, up, back behind you, and pause there. Now do the biggest, dopest reach that you've done so far. Turn your right knee, the lifted knee, towards the floor, belly button towards the floor, just because it's happening to me, so I'm assuming it might be happening to you. And keep that as you do these little pulses. Try and keep the leg nice and high as it can go without cheating. You got that little gap between the floor and your ribs. Your tail is tucked. You're kind of facing down towards the floor a little bit. Just for another 5. You got this. 4, 3, 2, and be done with it. Okay, let's meet in tabletop. So you'll go onto all fours. And just right away, step your left foot back behind you, so your toes will stay tucked. And then turn your left toes towards the left side of the space. And then reach your left arm up into the air, and then up and over your head towards the front part of your front part of your mat, I should say. Now turn your chest towards the floor a bit, scoop your tailbone, and look at your right knee that's on the floor. See if you can stack your right hip a little bit better above the knee. So if you look at the hip, you probably have to sneak it to the left a bit. Okay, take a breath in through your nose, and then a really strong exhale like we've been doing. Pressurize your exhale, and do a little baby hover of your right knee off of the floor. Little tiny guy. And then tap the knee down as you breathe in. Keep your tail scooped. Try and keep your right hip above your knee. As you exhale, do a little tiny hover of the knee. Try and catch your right obliques. Tap the knee down and take a full breath in. One more time, exhale. Hover your right knee ever so slightly. And then bring the knee to the floor, come into tabletop essentially, and we'll just go right into the other side. So step your right leg back almost like a plank, turn your right toes to the right, and then reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Take your top arm forward towards the front of the mat, and essentially put yourself into a nice big side stretch. So reach a lot with the top arm, push a lot with your left hand, and kind of scrunch up your left abs away from the floor. Now keep all that and turn your chest to the ground, scoop your tailbone, and take a breath in. You try not to let anything else change. As you exhale, empty out, pressurize the breath out your mouth, and do a tiny little hover of the left knee. Not the foot, just the knee. Tap the knee down and breathe in. You probably feel your right side body expand. Out your mouth, exhale. Hover your left knee. Last one. In, tap the knee, and out. Left obliques on so much that the knee hovers. Good job. Tabletop, and then down dog. Take your time. So in this down dog, we do kind of need some dorsiflexion for this sequence. And we need the bottom of the feet to be kind of open. So let's just heavy the heels, concentrate on the calves and the feet a little bit in down dog, and feel like the toes are super light. And then bend your right knee so the heel will come off the floor, and really heavy your left heel to or further into the ground, kind of depending on the mobility you have in your ankle there. So as the left heel goes down, feel like your left toes are super light, and even think of sticking your left butt cheek up a little bit so you get the whole back of the leg to stretch. And then switch and Bring your right heel to or towards the floor and bend your left knee. So the right leg can stay straight. Your right tippy toes are kind of pulling away from the ground. And as the heel descends in one direction towards the floor, your right sitting bone is kind of popping up. Maybe that's more of like a sensation than anything really moving too much. Okay, and then straighten both your legs and come forward into a plank and bring your left knee towards your chest and only step at most halfway forward, at the very most halfway forward. You'll turn your two heels to the right and your toes to the left, and then reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. This time, dip your outer right hip towards the floor and sweep your left arm back towards the straight leg. And lift your hips up really high now and take your top arm and reach it forward like we did with those other variations. We'll just do two. So dip your outer right hip towards the floor, sweep your left arm back towards the straight leg. Lift your hips up nice and high and reach your top arm forward and pause. Now turn your 2 feet forward and take your left fingertips, your right fingertips to the ground. And we're just going to transition into a standing split today. So lift your right leg up into the air, but then simply just step your right foot with your left foot about hip width distance apart and fold. Come halfway up, arch your spine, and then refold over your legs. Now put a generous bend in your knees, scoop your tailbone, and put all the weight into your left foot. Really, really heavy your left foot and slowly start to roll yourself up. It's almost like your right foot is trying to pull off the floor, but it doesn't. Only roll up to about 90 degrees or 90% of the way up, and then just keep your chin tucked, stay rounded, and roll back down. Remind yourself to almost hover your right foot off the floor. Every ounce of you is in that left foot. And then you're going to roll up again one more time, about 90% of the way up. Stay rounded is the point. And then roll back down your left leg. So I hope you feel a little bit of energy in your left leg. It's not crazy or anything. Now roll up to chair in this position, still all the weight in your left foot. Bend your knees, reach your arms up, and then stand up on your left foot. Hover your right knee out in front of you and take your hands to your hips. I'm going to turn towards you, but you just stay where you are so you can see me. So you're going to let your outer left hip sway over towards the left a little bit. And then you're going to hike your right hip up as high as you can get it. Really, really high. Let's do that one more time. So let your outer hip sway to the left. And then hike your outer right hip up really, really high. Okay, we're going to add on. You're going to take your right foot back behind you a little bit and take your foot way over to the left, as far over to the left as you can into this little curtsy, and allow your right tippy toes to kind of land on the floor for a second and pause there, and then bend your left knee, your front leg a lot, and see if you can hover your right toes, the back toes first, so all the weight goes into the front foot, and slowly stand back up and bring your right knee out in front of you. Let's let the hips swing off to the left again, so a little sassy hip sass, and then hike your right hip way up and see if you can get a little contraction on the outside of your left hip. Then take your right foot back behind you, way over to the left as far as you can, and just do a little love tap with your right tippy toes and pause there for a second. Bend your hips closer to the floor. Lean forward. Push all the weight, almost like the floor is a leg press. Put all the weight into your left foot. Hover your right foot first, and then hover your right knee out in front of you. And then just step your right foot forward. Go for a little walk. And at the same time, almost hover your left knee out in front of you. And then let's do a figure four. So clip your left ankle onto the front of your right thigh and cut your hips back into a little chair seat. And I actually feel my outer left hip just from doing that simple little action of the curtsy. Think of moving your right hip back a bit and your left hip up. Okay, let's stand back up on one leg. Hover the left knee out in front. Slowly step back into a lunge, but keep your upper body over your front leg so you can just smoothly bring it into a plank. Now you'll keep your toes tucked and don't let your knees go forward, but just tap your knees down onto the floor so you're in this long tabletop. Keep your toes tucked and go past Chaturanga Dandasana to the floor. And then you're just going to push yourself back up and find downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths. Maybe work on your heels being heavy and your toes being light. Work on the dorsiflexion action, which is a pretty big component of down dog if you think about it. Okay, let's go forward plank. Bring the right knee towards your chest this time and round your back. Find down dog split and lift your leg up into the air. And only step about halfway forward, middle of the mat kind of thing. Turn your heels to the left, toes to the right, and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. And then as you dip your outer hip towards the floor, sweep your top arm towards the straight leg. And as you lift your hips up, way up, take your arm forward and arch the side body. One more time, dip your hips low as the top arm sweeps back. Lift your hips high as the top arm sweeps forward, and then just pause here. Turn your 10 toes forward. Take your 10 fingertips onto the floor. Take your time here and lift your left leg up into the air into a standing split. And then simply step your left foot down, hip width distance apart with the other foot. Come halfway up, arch your spine, and then fold down over your legs. And as you do that, push all the weight into your right foot. Even like lean into your right foot kind of thing. It naturally happens. Scoop your tailbone and slowly roll yourself up. Feel like your left foot is about to hover off the floor. Stay rounded. Only round about 90% of the way up. Keep your chin tucked and round back down over your right leg. I'm actively pushing my right foot into the ground. Let's do that one more time. Roll up. 90% of the way up. Stay rounded and roll down. This time we're going to roll into a chair, lopsided on that right foot. Bend your knees and reach your arms up. Hover your left knee out in front of you so you stand on one leg and take your hands to your hips. I'm going to stay facing forward this time. Let your outer hip lean to the right. So that's stretching the lateral fibers of the glute. Hike your left hip, your outer left hip, way up, and that will guide the right hip to contract into the body. Let's do that one more time for good measure. Hips go to the right. Push into the foot and hike your left hip up away from the floor. This time, you're going to take your left foot back behind you a bit, way over towards the right side of the room. Try to balance. Tap the floor with your left foot. Bend your standing leg. So bend your hips towards the floor and put all the weight in your front foot. Lift your left toesies up and slowly control standing back up. Left knee out in front of you. Hips go right. Then hike your left hip way up. Contract your outer right hip. Bring your left foot back and way over to the right into a curtsy. Dip low with your hips. Let the right knee go forward a lot. And then in that position, can you hover the left foot? It's way harder because you went deeper. And slowly stand up. Left knee hovers out in front of you. And then as you step the left foot forward, go for a little walk, your right knee will hover out in front. And then you'll figure four your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Kate says, and I love this cue, cut your hips back. Like think of the frontal hip points going back in space. And that folds you down. I love that vision or that visual. What usually happens in this position is your butt kind of wags to the left, wag your butt over to the right, and then take a deeper seat. A deeper seat. You'll get a more true stretch out of the outer hip. That feels good. All right, let's stand up. Bring your right knee out in front of you. Take a nice, slow, controlled step back. Keep your upper body over your front leg. And once you land the foot, come into plank. And in plank, Let your knees come down onto the floor, but don't let them come forward so that you set yourself up well for a chaturanga. Remember, you're keeping your toes tucked. I just had to kind of tuck mine more. Push yourself back up into a long tabletop and then go back into a downward facing dog. Let's take a full breath in through the nose and an exhale out through the mouth. Okay, we're going to flow that thing. Come forward into plank as you breathe in. Bring your left knee towards your chest and breathe out. Down dog split. Inhale. And then step only halfway forward as you exhale. Heels to the right, toes to the left. Left arm reaches up. You'll breathe in. Hips towards the floor. Arm goes back as you breathe out. We'll just do one. Lift your hips up. Take the top arm forward as you inhale. And then simply turn your 10 toes forward. Come onto your fingers and exhale. Don't rush it. Standing splits. Breathe in. Step down, hip width distance, and fold as you breathe out. Come halfway up and inhale. Fold over your legs and exhale. All the weight's in your left foot. Scoop your tailbone and roll up into a chair just for the breath in. Stand up, bring your right knee out in front of you as you breathe out and bring your hands to your hips. Let your hips sway to the left as you breathe in. And then hike your right hip up a lot as you breathe out. Do one curtsy. Right foot goes way to the left as you inhale. Let your hips go super duper low. Push into your bottom foot and bring yourself back up. And exhale, right knee hovers. At the same time as you step your right foot forward, breathe in, bring your left knee out in front of you. And then figure four, you exhale. Cut your hips back. Let's stay for a full breath in and stay for a full breath out. Stand back up, left knee hovers, inhale. Slow step back, control it as you exhale. Keep your body weight over your front leg. Plank. Breathe in. Exhale, bring your knees down onto the floor. Keep your toes tucked. Stay for a full breath in, so you're in a long tabletop. As you exhale, go all the way down to the floor. And then you just push yourself back up as you breathe in, long tabletop. Downward facing dog. Breathe out. Stay for a full breath in. Stay for a full breath out. Other side, plank. In. Right knee to chest, out. Down dog split. Inhale. Step halfway forward and exhale. Heels to the left, toes to the right, arm up. Breathe in. Hips towards the floor, arm sweeps back as you breathe out. Hips go up, you inhale and reach the top arm forward. Stay here, just turn your feet forward and exhale. Come onto your fingertips. Standing splits for the inhale. Curl into a ball as you exhale and step your left foot down. Halfway up. In. Fold back down. Out. Put all the weight in your right foot. Roll into chair and breathe in. Arms go up. Stand and breathe out. Left knee goes out in front of you. Let your hips sway to the right and in, and then pack your right hip in, lift your left hip up as you exhale. Curtsy, left foot goes way over to the right. On the breath in, go nice and low with your hips, as low as you can go, even go forward. Push into your foot and slowly stand up smoothly, left knee out in front of you. Step forward as you inhale, bring your right knee out in front of you. Figure four. Exhale, cut your hips back. Stay for an in. Stay out. Stand back up. Inhale, right knee hovers. Step way back on the exhale. Body weight stays forward. Plank. In. Let's just go down dog. Out. Walk your hands back to your feet. Put a pretty good bend to your knees like we've been saying. Scoop your tailbone, keep your head heavy, and roll yourself up all the way to stand. Whew, I'm sweating. So let's go to the middle of the mat and put all this together so you're facing the wide part of your sticky mat. And we'll start with our hands on our hips. You'll bring your right knee out in front of you. And again, let your hip sway off to the left. Kind of what not to do in a lot of positions. And then hike your right hip up a lot. And slowly take your right foot back behind you like we've been doing and see if you can get it a little further than you've been going. So really go for it this time. And take your right foot and place it onto the floor there. This time you're going to take your right hand onto the floor, try and go nice and wide, and recreate this side plank that we've been doing all class. The key here is to lean forward into your front foot and let your hips drop into the front leg. Then come onto your right fingertips and hover your right hand first, and then hover your back foot and slowly stand back up and bring your hands to your hips and bring your right knee out in front of you. We're going to do that 2 more times. Let your hips sway to the left. Hike your right hip up nice and high. Take your right foot way over to the left side. Curtsy. Take a wide stance, as wide as you can. Tap the floor. Take your right hand to the ground. Put all the weight into your right hand, so let it take over. Then lean forward into your front foot. Let the front foot take over. Go right fingertips. Go hover hand. Then hover foot. And then it's all this hip extension stuff to come up from that long stretched position. 1 more time, hip sways left. 1 more time, hike your right hip up. Bring your foot back and way over to the left. Place it onto the floor and take your right hand to the ground. Let the right hand take over. Lean forward into the front foot, fingertips. Hover the hand. Hover the back foot. Slowly stand up and bring your right knee out in front of you. I'm going to go right into the other side. I hope you felt some left rump. Take your left foot out in front of you, or your left knee. Let your hips sway to the right. Pack your right hip in. Try to lift your left hip higher. Then take your foot way over to the right side of the space. Place it down with control. And take your left hand down onto the ground. And let your left hand take over. So you're in the side plank, arms doing the work. Now lean forward into your front foot. Go fingertips first. Then hover the hand. Then hover the foot. Then slowly stand. Hands on the hips, knee hovers. Outer hip sweeps to the right. Outer hip packs in, the left hip hikes. Take your foot behind you and way to the right. Nice, wide stance. Left hand to the floor. Let that hand take over. Lean way forward. Let your front foot take over. Go fingertips to the left hand. Hover the left hand. Hover the back foot. Slowly stand up. I'm doing better on this side if it feels easier. 1 more time. Hip sway. Left hip hike. Get your right glute to turn on. So now it's short. And as you bring your foot way over to the right and bring the hand down, you just put that hip into its long position. Lean forward. Left fingertips. Hover the hand. Hover the foot. Slowly stand. Bring your left knee out in front of you. Good job. Put your foot down and just lie down on your back. And we're going to do a little baby stretch and then just go to sleep. So we started with the left foot, or the left hip, I should say. So we'll start by bringing the left knee in and turning the shin to the right. So you're looking at the inside of your shin. Grab the outside of your foot and take your right hand and grab your heel. And keep your inner foot kind of turning towards you as you bend your elbows off to the side and pull your inner foot towards your body. So I don't want to do too big of a stretch, honestly, because we want these muscles to be on and active. Um, I'm a people pleaser, so we're stretching a little bit before we stop all this nonsense. Let's do the other side. So you'll take your right knee up, spin your shin to the left, grab your outer foot with your right hand, and grab your heel, the back of your heel with your left hand. Now keep your inner foot facing your body and bend your elbows and pull your inner foot towards you. It certainly does feel good, I have to admit. And then just bring both your knees in. Give yourself a little hug so you finish in something more neutral with no sides to it. And just take a nice wide stance with your arms and your legs. Close your eyes. And just be with yourself, with your body, with your breath, with the present moment. Enjoy completing some movement. And just tap into your senses and how you feel. And just let that be enough. Remember, you're trying to stay here for as long as you can until you get into a real state of relaxation. That's the ticket with Shavasana. Thank you so much for being here. Again, Kate and I appreciate you. Thanks for joining the challenge. You got one day left. Much love. Ciao for now.